to dissuade those cab drivers from coming with arms to rescue us. This was before the marshals showed up. And then he walked back through the mob. Now, that is one mystery in the whole thing that I have never been able to fathom.
Daniel in the lion's den.
John Siegenthaler, the president, the attorney general's envoy to you, what happened to him?
Well, I was out, but
you were unconscious.
I was unconscious. The story is that he heard and became aware of what was going on, and as he was driving towards the bus terminal, he saw Susan Wilbur and Susan Herman.
They are.
Those were two of the white students who were also exchange. Well, one was an exchange student from Susan Herman at Fisk. Susan Wilbur was from Peabody and was from Nashville, wasn't she?
Yes.
As I recall. And as he drove up, there was a young teenager just popping these gals, and he went in and grabbed Susan Wilbur and kind of tried to get her in the car. She get in the car, and she grabbed the side and she said, you know, this is not your fight. Don't get involved with this. I'm trained in nonviolence. And about that moment, somebody got to Siegenthaler and said, who are you? And he said, I'm a representative of the United States government. And somebody hit him with a pipe and he was out.
Let's go to a clip of Freedom Riders.
We did not ask for all of the state police and the helicopters overhead. It was shameful that we could not travel peacefulully without that apparatus of protection.
At 11:50 a.m. Central Standard Time, the bus hit the Mississippi line, the Alabama authorities pulling back.
We felt a very strange feeling when they changing of the guard at the Alabama-Mississippi state line. It was very eerie. In spite of all that Alabama had done, the fear of Mississippi in the minds of many people was far greater. There was a huge billboard, and that billboard said, "Welcome to Mississippi, the Magnolia State." And when we continued to ride on, the next large sign we saw said, "Prepare to meet thy God."
As we wrap up, how this all ended and what it meant to each of you. Dr. Bernard Lafayette.
What happened is from two different points of view. One had to do with how do we go about trying to end discrimination and segregation in public transportation, because this was an area of segregation that affected a large number of people all over. And it was a drastic contrast between the North and the South, because we didn't have the segregation in the public transportation in the North. In fact, you had to change buses and change train cars when you went north. And that was very dramatic when we made travel like that. So on that particular issue, it was important. The other thing that was important was the fact that it was a new way of organizing social movements and social change struggle. In the past, we had the legal struggle, where you go to the courts and you get some kind of court ruling, and you appeal all the way to the Supreme Court. The lawyers were trained, Thurgood Marshall and all those, that whenever you take a simple case, like someone getting arrested for sitting in the wrong place or whatever, you build the cases if you're going to the Supreme Court. You're trained to do it. And that was a battle. That was a fight, the lawyers. Martin Luther King introduced another whole approach. In addition to the legal struggle, we had to work not only on legislative things, and that was another way of struggling, trying to get the law changed through Congress, but we get the masses of people involved. And that's when the Freedom Riders changed. You didn't have a select group of people who could be, disciplined, and certain people that you were aware of. But when the masses of people got involved, and you had over 400 people get involved in the Freedom Riders. So we had to then change our strategy. not go to New Orleans. But when they started arresting us in Jackson, Mississippi, we made that our battleground to fill the jails. And the purpose of filling the jail was to get more people, individuals, actively involved and participating in the movement. Because Martin Luther King believed that a change would come when people themselves had a chance to change and had a chance to be involved.
And in being imprisoned at Parchman Prison, one of the most notorious prisons?
Yes. That meant serious commitment. And by the way, the largest single group, when the demographic study was done, the single group that was there on the Freedom Rides arrested in Parchman was young Jewish women from Chicago. And that was because a professor at the University of Chicago said that he was going on a Freedom Ride, and his class said, "Can we go?"
Let's go back to a clip of Freedom Riders.
We made up a song saying that buses are coming. And we sang it to the jailers to tell them and warn them to get ready, to be prepared, that we were not the only ones coming. So we started singing, "Buses are a-coming, oh yes. Buses are a-coming, oh yes. Buses are a-coming, buses are a-coming, buses are a-coming, oh yes." We say to the jailers, "Better get you ready, oh yes." The jailers say, "All right, shut up all that singing and hollering in here. This is not no playhouse, this is the jailhouse." So we said to ourselves, what are you going to do, put us in jail?
Jim Zwerg, how did this affect your life?
My involvement totally changed my life when I embraced nonviolence. The first person it changes is you, the individual who embraces it. And it changes the way you look at others as well. My life has been dedicated to sharing that message through the ministry and through just life in general. To this day, I go and speak with children and adults of all ages, talking about nonviolence and the steps to bring about social change, principles of nonviolence. Knowing people like this guy, my brother, when we get together, here we are 70 years old. Well, he's a young sprite, I'm 70, but all those memories come flooding back. The love, the fellowship, the relationships we had, the joys we shared, the triumphs. It was the most incredible period in my life, and I will cherish it. I have been deeply, deeply blessed to call people like Bernard my dear friends.
Do you see the same passion for social change today as you did then? Do you think it needs to happen?
Yes, we have to teach our young people. And because what surprises me is lately that these young people don't know anything about the struggle. They don't know anything. There's a terrible gap, serious, not just generation gap, information gap. And that's why I'm really so excited about this production and this film presentation, because it's going to educate a lot of our young people, and we're going to close the gap.
It's very powerful.
I want to thank you both for being with us. Jim Zwerg and the Reverend Dr. Bernard Lafayette. And that does it for today's program. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks so much for joining us.